Garlic is another good crop to put in now. It's going to go through the winter and you'll harvest it in early summer. And let's talk a little bit about how to get what you want and how to plant it. So this is a garlic bulb. This is the whole thing. This is what you could get at the grocery store. And in fact, you can go get one at the grocery store and you can use that for planting if you want to. If you've got computer access, you can also go on and you can find a number of sites that are devoted to plants, and if you Google garlic, you'll almost always come up with something. And you can order particular varieties that you can't normally get in the grocery store, and it's kind of fun to change them around and try different things. Now, the bulb is full of cloves. You know that if you cook with this at all. So what you have to do is separate all the cloves. So this one probably has a dozen, maybe a few more cloves in there. They're different sizes. And what I would do would be break it apart. I've already taken one out here. And I would separate the tiny ones, if there are any, from the larger ones, because I want to plant the larger ones. Those are the ones that are going to give us the best plants. You don't have to peel off the skin. Leave it just like it is when you take it out of here. And then you want to plant these about 8 inches apart, give or take a little bit. And you want to put it in the ground with the root end, which is the square end, down, and the pointed end pointing up. And what I would do would be just make a little hole, and I want to put this about 4 inches or so deep. So I'm going to get the little hole here, and I'm going to put that down in the bottom, and it's going to sit pretty much upright. And then I'll just recover it, pat it in place, okay, and leave it. Basically, that's what you're going to do. You don't have to heavily water this. It'll start to sprout when it's time for it to. And when you see it begin to sprout, and you get leaves that are little green shoots that are up about that high, if you want to, it's a good idea to put down a little layer of mulch, because you want to protect them a little bit. The bulb is probably going to be fine, but you don't want the upper part damaged by cold weather. You don't have to cover them up. You just put a little layer on top there. Put them in, water them if the bed is dry, but if it's not, don't worry about it. They don't need a lot of water, and they don't need a lot of fertilizer either. We're going to leave them until next summer. So this takes a while to get there. But you're going to see plants that look more and more like big onions. The tops are going to come up, and they're going to be all green and everything, and you just keep watching them. And when the stems, the green part, begins to turn yellow and sort of wither over, then it's done about all it's going to do. Now remember that the stem is really the leaf that's getting the nutrient to the plant, or helping to develop the bulb. Okay, so don't cut it off until you're ready to take it out. And when you see that the majority of your plants are beginning to droop over, leaves turning yellow and that sort of thing, take a fork, not a shovel, but a nice digging fork, a garden fork, and go back in and dig carefully around there until you can pull up each bulb. And then once you get the bulbs out, the next step is to cure it. The best way to cure it is to lay it out on something like a piece of screen or mesh that will let air circulate. Don't pile it up in a deep pile, put it in a single layer, and if you want to, you can just leave it out in the sun. Protect it from the rain, though, so you might want to put it under some sort of cover that will let it get plenty of fresh air. Sun doesn't hurt it. It takes most garlic about 2 weeks to fully cure, and you'll know it's really cured when you take a bulb and the skin on it is really tight, and the shaft that's coming out of here is also nice and tight. Okay. So everything is kind of shrunken a little bit, it's dried, it's in a good state to keep, and then you cut off the top, you just cut off the little root section, I don't even bother to wash them. I just brush off a little dirt if there's any there, and then store them in a cool, dry place, and this will keep for months. So you can have garlic all summer long and into the fall.